r/writers of horror. Posted by Reddit user G_A93. I know the truth, but they insist on keeping me locked up. You know, you never know we're here, but we are. You pass us on the subway on your way to work. You casually smoke a cigarette as we walk right in front of you. You dine next to us, feeding your children, talking about God knows what with that spouse you've been cheating on. All the while, never giving us a second look. And for us, that is one of our key objectives. We slide into society without a notice, take care of business, and slip away like a thief in the night. For us, failure is not an option. For all of us, whether it's the homeless, the mayor, king, queen, president, even you, sitting there, reading this post, without a care in the fucking world, we are all affected by the jobs I'm sent to take care of. Who am I? That's something that's of no matter to anyone at this point. What is important is my job. I'm a time warp contractor, if you will, tasked with, well, to give you the meat and potatoes. I assist missions that aid in avoiding human extinction. Now, it's gonna sound like a lot of horse shit, but I'm sure the idea of a rectangular box that can fit in your ass pocket, having access to a phone, camera, music player, and internet porn would have had folks in the 1920s shitting their pants from laughing, huh? My job, in simple terms, is for myself to be sent back from my time, 2277, planet Mars, to various time periods on planet Earth. I'm given the mission that needs to be checkboxed down to the T. These missions involve altering the past to prevent future meltdowns, catastrophes, and downright extinction to the oh-so-fine inhabitants of planet Earth. As it turns out, each planet has its own space-time continuum. So, when I leave to warp to Earth, I'm not necessarily changing anything on Mars, just Earth. Fixing various catastrophes on various realities, just on Earth. That's why there's no changes as I return back to Time Warp. I can already sense your doubts. Aside from the insanity spewing from my mouth, I can already hear it. And what about the butterfly effect, or messing with natural order? As it turns out, you humans aren't as complex as you crack yourselves up to be. No. The butterfly effect is based on a bullshit probability scheme. That minuscule change in the past will vastly change the future. Which is fine, but as I said, humanity tends to think there are so many outcomes to a situation. There really isn't. You bring down a Hitler, and another demon takes his place. The timing's off, but eventually, all major events in human history repeats in one way or another, just with another face. You got it? Alright. If anything, you'll get a kick out of my bullshit. Let's break this down. Everything you know as fact has been crafted by a Neo-Martian classified division called the Time Warp. Or at least everything has been given a gentle nudge in the direction we best see fit. Need an example? November 22nd, 1963. President Kennedy was assassinated by one Lee Harvey Oswald. You're welcome. Now, Oswald was right. He was a patsy. Except the man who was responsible for killing Kennedy wasn't a mob hitman. It was yours truly. Why? Well, from my case notes, the mobster who was put in charge of pulling the trigger got caught up with a piece of ass and wasn't in position during the parade. Now, this led to Kennedy never having his brains blown out, which led to World War III after public knowledge of the botched Bay of Pigs invasion ended up causing too big a rift between the US and the Soviet Union. Now, atomic weaponry, all-out assaults on major cities in both countries ravaged the world. It only took a few months, billions dead, cities around the world abandoned, economic collapse, mass starvations, chemical warfare. By the year 1971, the Earth's population was cut in 3/4. With humanity struggling to keep up with its new primitive lifestyle, the spoiled humans are wiped off the Earth completely by 1995. Still not convinced? In 2000, the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, was, quote-unquote, elected into office, starting a reign of iron fist-like government. Well, based on the file, my mission was to make sure that Putin was elected, for the simple fact that Gennady Zyuganov, Putin's closest opponent, was a madman. He was secretly obsessed with controversial sciences, supernatural, the unknown. Zyuganov wins the election by a slight margin, and in the ensuing years develops a secret department of scientists hell-bent on figuring out if reanimation after death is a possibility. You can see where this is going. Now, I don't know, and I don't care how it was achieved, but patient zero went missing around December 12th, 2002. Within 4 months, cases of humans experienced rabid symptoms and superhuman-like strength were popping up in various countries. It started in Russia, causing a prompt shutdown of neighboring areas. Their media could only hide so much before other countries reported massive outbreaks and mass evacs from populous cities. I got to see an example clip of the outcome. Humans turning a pale blue shade. Their hair fell out. Their eyes would begin to turn orange yellow. Unfortunate creatures would then begin to make a tear for a new host to infect. Their faces consistently covered in blood from biting the helpless victims, scratching them. The terrible loud screeches never bothered me. It was the way it was reported that some of them had this knowledge to sneak up on a person and deliver their infection. This was a slow burn. Country after country saw many casualties. Until the governments turned nuclear on their own citizens, trying to contain the issue. So, say what you will about Vladdy boy over there. At least he's only interested in being in power. Had enough? How about just one more? After all, it's just bullshit, right? I got a good one for you all. One that I think will click with this oh-so-smart-ass population of humans. As a matter of fact, I know it will. You see, We at Time Warp are not Martians, if you will. We are not human. We're just entities. We can take any form. We can be as noticeable as a two-headed dog or as quiet as a fly on the wall. But we are not gods. We are not perfect. We fuck up from time to time. But when that happens, we're not allowed back at our base, our home. We are made to suffer our consequences on the timeline that we are assigned to save. And that's why I'm sitting here, typing out this absurd memoir, hoping somebody will take me seriously. Of all the missions I've been on, this one chills me to my core. Let me start from the beginning. I was sent to Ohio, United States, earlier this year, January 2020. I had a simple mission. One that sadly would have made half the country extremely joyous. I was tasked with executing United States President Donald J. Trump at a rally in Toledo. I had the plan laid out. There should have been no problems, but there was. The gun I managed to sneak into the rally was discovered by a loyal Trump patriot seated behind me with some yellow hat. He notified security via Twitter, and I was immediately restrained and taken away before I could react. And before I knew it, my return warp had been shut off, indicating a failed mission. And that's how I ended up here, in Colorado, in the only Supermax prison in the US. Well, the only one the public knows about anyways. They tried everything to get me to explain myself, my actions, my intentions, who I am, who I worked for, etc. I told them all the same shit. It doesn't matter anymore. I gave up any chance of getting out of my crime. Given my less than satisfying cooperation, I was sent here to Colorado. Now, as I said before, who I am doesn't matter. Nor does my mission anymore. But I was able to get some rec time on the computer for 7 months of good behavior. Thankfully, the guard with me is too into the television to even give a damn what I'm doing. Your tax dollars at work. In any case, this is my official warning to you all. Stay healthy. The reason I was sent to kill Donald Trump was for his poor response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Had I been successful, Vice President Pence would have taken the reins and steered the US on the correct path to better serve yourselves. Here's what I know from my mission debriefing. In March of 2020, the world was fully immersed in COVID-19 headlines. People panic as expected. The world shut down in an attempt to control the spread of the virus. Travel, vacation, non-essential businesses, all frozen. For about 5 months, you will fluctuate from overreacting to disregarding the virus entirely. Sound familiar? And as a result of the poor leadership, and not closing the US borders, and not containing the infected patients, you will see the numbers in the US rise dramatically throughout the year. But as the symptoms begin to fade in October, so do the precautions of the other countries. The other countries begin to open back up, like the US, after seeing the country open up and prosper. Though cases will rise, deaths will not. The recovery rates will be about 99.99%. And within 6 months, the country will seem back on track for normality. That is until the spring of 2021. Patients are being rushed into the hospital with massive organ failure around the world. Doctors, nurses, and scientists have never seen such failures in human. Pains of childbirthing proportions in men and women. Vomiting blood and chunks of black liquid on the hospital steps, as if their innards had melted overnight, before collapsing straight to their deaths. Hospitals will not be overrun. They will be abandoned. It'll only take 4 weeks for communication systems to fail. Countries begin to be completely wiped off the map. The US being one of the first to go. The only countries with minimal damage in the beginning will be those who didn't suffer large COVID infections from the previous year. As it turns out, COVID-19 is more than a virus. It's a parasitic life form that plays the long game in your system before it can quietly dismantle a human from the inside out. And as for those sweet innocent children that are far less likely to be infected, estimated extinction time, 2 years. And there it is. I'm content to sit here without any guilt, as I have given you all that I know. So, do what you will with it. But remember, every cough you randomly brush off, every tickle in the back of your throat, every body ache is a precursor to your inevitable demise. If I were you, I'd avoid the outside like a plague.